we have the current MVP frontrunner in that quarterback. I said it. He's the best quarterback in the league right now. You cannot name a quarterback that has played better than Jaden Daniels. And you can look at Lamar. Lamar's in that conversation. He's no Jaden. Jaden is that dude. I'm taking my commies. We're going to go into Baltimore. We're going to win, and we're going to show the world.
Score prediction.
A very subtle 48-10.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the PM Football Podcast. We're obviously going to be talking about some college football. You guys are also going to learn what we would do with the teams that have the biggest questions at the quarterback in the NFL.
That's right. We're also going to be talking about which head coaches in the NFL are on the hot and warm seat.
And then, obviously, we're going to do our Week 6 game predictions.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it's a pretty tight race.
It is a tight race. So, for those who don't know, me and JJ are in a competition right now with our weekly game predictions in the NFL. Right now, I'm 41-37. JJ is at 500 at 39-39. So it's a pretty close race right now.
Yeah,
only
right
2 games ahead.
Hopefully,
still a long season to go. So
hopefully this week I can gain some ground on you. It's tied up. And also, tell us what the
punishment is. Yeah, we need your help figuring out what punishment the loser should do. So if y'all could help us out figure out what punishment the loser should do, definitely comment and help us figure out what the loser should do.
Yeah, because we have no
idea.
We don't know. We need you guys to help us out.
We're not that smart.
No. But with all that being said, let's get into some football.
Absolutely, let's do this.
College football was crazy this week.
It was insane, dude.
The number 9, the number 22, the number 4, the number 10, the number 11, and the number 1 teams all lose.
Yeah, dude. What do you think this could do for the college football playoffs as a whole?
It is wide open right now.
Absolutely, I agree.
There isn't a team other than right now, Texas and Ohio State, that I would say, yes, for sure, they're in the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much that could change and will change in these next, 7 or 8 weeks that are left in the season?
Yeah, you and me talked about it a couple of weeks ago when we did our rankings for the college football teams. We said 8 through 12 is going to be really tough, really sticky. Now it's looking like 5 through 12. You might even say 4 maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
But
because the ACC right now is a big question mark.
Exactly. Miami's Big 12 is still a question mark.
Big 12.
5 through 12 right now looking very shaky.
Wide open.
Yeah, so who knows what will happen. There's a lot of things.
But also on the flip side, how fun is this now?
Absolutely. It's so much fun. Like, I'm happy the college football playoffs finally extended from 4 to 12 because this is what we've needed for a while. Yeah. Was it fun, just top 4 teams? Yeah, but it also came with its cons. I feel like now there's a little more excitement because it's that much more teams that are able to join fighting for a spot to get in there.
Yeah, and I mean, are there any of those games you specifically want to talk about? Like, obviously for me, the Tennessee and Bama games.
Yeah, I think those are for sure the ones that pop out just because they were so – 1, they were ranked so high. Yeah. 2, they were just so heavily favorite. And, we talked about this earlier. Nick Saban would have never allowed this to happen to Alabama.
The celebration lasted too long.
Absolutely. So, I mean, obviously you got to look at Tennessee, Alabama as the main 2. Wow, this is –
Tennessee was a surprising loss. I mean,
it was.
Obviously Alabama was the most surprising loss. Yeah. But Tennessee going to Arkansas, it was in Arkansas, I'm pretty sure.
I believe so, yeah.
You go into Arkansas as the number 4 team in the country, and you guys were playing like the number 4 team in the country, and you just go lay an egg against Arkansas.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, man.
It was a very it was just a very weird week.
Yeah,
with all of these upsets.
For sure, and I will say a great thing about all these SEC teams being up on each other. Personally, I think that leaves more opportunity for other conferences like Big 10 schools, Big 12 schools, ACC schools to kind of join in that top 12 to compete for its spot. So these next few weeks will be really exciting to watch.
Yeah, could you imagine if a 1 loss or an undefeated Big 12 school is the 2 seed?
That's what I'm saying.
Over a 1 loss.
Who knows what will happen? Because you got to think this is also the first year college football is really experimenting with this. So we could say all these things. We can make all these predictions. No one really knows what's going to happen and how it's going to go down.
Not at all.
So I'm very excited to see how it all shakes up.
Yeah. It's going to be a very exciting end to the season, even though we're only like halfway through.
Yeah.
This next half of the season, it's going to be some fun football.
I may be jumping the gun here, but we are halfway through the college football season now. Personally, this is when I start looking at players who are draft eligible, so I'm very excited to start watching some players because you and me have some things planned coming up in episodes coming up soon. So definitely stay tuned for that because it's going to be some really fun stuff.
Going off of that, the whole reason really that we wanted to start this is we are such big fans of the draft process, the evaluations of
evaluating players, scouting players, like that is, we are absolute nerds for that.
And I think you guys are going to be very happy about some of the stuff that we're going to be putting out because we feel like we're pretty good. And not to throw any shade at anybody.
Yeah.
We don't think there's very many YouTube channels / TikTok pages that weren't like pro scouts prior that put out great draft content. And we feel like
we feel like there was something missing from that market about, like we said, like just nerds about evaluating players, scouting players, really just talking in depth about certain players and certain things. Mm-hmm. So like you said, we're really excited to finally be starting that now that we're halfway through the college football season.
So stick around with us for that part.
It's going to be a fun ride.
We're going to be putting out some very in-depth draft content for you guys.
Absolutely. And while we're still talking about college, you know how to do it. Shout out Navy. Great win against Air Force. I mean, can those cowards in the AP poll finally just rank Navy already? It's dumb. Rank Navy.
Are they still not ranked?
No.
Really?
Horrible decision by the AP poll. This team deserves to be ranked. I mean, I don't want to jump the gun. If they keep this up, they could honestly make a bid for that 12 seed.
Yeah. All right. One more thing about college football. If you had to make a pick right now, today the season ends. Who's winning the national championship?
Oh, great question. You know what? You brought it up a little bit earlier.
I'll even expand it a little bit. Who is playing who in the national championship?
I mean, I don't know how it would work out just bracket-wise and stuff, but I have to look at the top two teams. I have to look at Texas and Ohio State just because they do look like they're the strongest. And out of the two, I mean, it could be a coin flip, honestly, between those two. I mean, I like how Ohio State's just kind of coming together. But Texas is a unit, man.
They are. And I think whenever Quinn comes back, they might take a couple games to get back to what it used to be in those first 3 or 4 games with Quinn. It's a big adjustment from Quinn to Arch. Yeah. Arch isn't the same type of quarterback.
No, not at all.
He's more of a... No, I'm not saying he's Pat Mahomes. I'm not saying it. He plays more of a stylistically like Pat Mahomes, where Quinn is more of the
just
pocket
getting out of the pocket, extending time, helping your receivers out in that way.
And I like how you said Texas and Ohio State. I think Texas and Ohio State are the two teams right now.
That could change, but as of now, because Texas still plays Georgia in a few weeks,
and again, it could flip right back to Georgia.
Exactly. So.
Which is why it's so exciting. Like college football used to be all right, well,
the top 3 or 4 teams, and then
they're just going to blow out every other team.
Yeah, no.
Now the games matter because you can lose 2 games and still make the playoffs.
Yeah, so very exciting stuff, and I'm really looking forward to these next few weeks
for sure. All right, next we're going to jump into our segment that we'd mentioned earlier. You guys are going to figure out who we think. Or what teams we think need quarterback help.
Yeah, so we're kind of going to go with the teams we think need the most help at quarterback and tell the audience what we would do if we were the GMs for the next...
To emphasize, personally, what we would do.
Yes. Not what we think they will do.
Not what we think they will do, yeah. Because we will probably get some hate for some of these takes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right. First team we're going to mention are the Raiders. What are you doing if you're the Raiders?
If I'm the Raiders, and I'm assuming another big thing about this is all assumption on what we think they will land in the NFL draft.
Yeah.
I think the Raiders are going to have a pretty good draft pick in the upcoming draft. I've said it before, I am a big fan of Antonio Pierce. They're just not looking that good right now. So I think they're going to have a pretty high draft pick. So if I'm the Raiders, I'm drafting my franchise quarterback in the first round.
I'm on the same wavelength as you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're going to end up with a very good record.
Okay.
So they're going to, right now, probably have a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
And if at worst, top 8, 7 pick.
You can still get a franchise quarterback within 10 for sure.
Is there a guy you're targeting if they're them?
I haven't watched players like that just yet, so I don't want to jump the gun on anything. But you've seen names like, yours is up there, Milrow, Beck, Shador. Like, those are the main 4 now. You know how the draft goes. There's always 1 or 2 quarterbacks that shoot up out of nowhere. Exactly. Cam Ward. Again, I haven't done film watch on any players just yet, but I feel like where I think they will land, they will definitely be in a spot where they could get like a top 4 QB in the draft.
Yeah, and just to give you guys a little sneak peek for next week's episode, we plan on doing our top 5 players for our big board next week.
Yeah.
So if you are just as interested in the draft as we are, we are going to put out who we think our top 5 players are.
As of now.
Because a lot can change.
Much can change.
We're starting our big board.
Yeah. Slowly but surely
we are starting to build up our big board. But for me, if I'm the Steelers or if I'm the Raiders, I'm also going to draft a quarterback this year. I just think it's time to. You're not going to have Minshew be there again. O'Connell.
I'm surprised they allowed it to begin with. I'm really surprised they weren't more aggressive when it came to looking for a quarterback for this upcoming year.
Well, I mean, I think they were under the assumption this roster is not built to make a deep run. And they're already talking about trading Devontae, which is, at this point, likely to happen any second.
Kay Adams fooled us. Did you see she tweeted, she tweeted that Devontae was supposed to be on her show today. She tweeted this yesterday saying Devontae was supposed to be on her show today and that he canceled because he had important business to handle. So, of course, everyone's like, oh.
And again, it's only 6:30 on Tuesday. So if it has happened already, we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
But we're under the assumption he hasn't been traded
yet. Yeah. As of what we know right now, yes, he will eventually get traded by the deadline. To who or when, we have no idea.
We don't know yet.
Yeah.
It could have happened 2 minutes after we're done filming this.
It could have happened this very moment, and we have no idea.
Yeah.
So.
But again, if I'm the Raiders, I'm drafting the quarterback. And like I was mentioning, they went into this season knowing, all right, let's just get a guy that's not going to win us a bunch of games, but still keep us competitive to make it look like we're not trying to tank.
Yeah.
You bring in a guy like Minshew. And if O'Connell was your guy that you wanted to see if he was going to be your guy,
you would start him.
You would have started him to begin with. So they're definitely going to have to draft somebody. I don't think they want to go the free agent route again because what's that going to do? It's not going to really do anything for you.
I know I've said this before. It's like putting a Band-Aid over a wound. You're not really going to do anything.
For sure. The next team we're going to talk about is the Pittsburgh Steelers. What do you think they're going to do?
If I'm the GM of the Steelers...
what would you do?
Yeah, if I'm the GM of the Steelers... Again, this is all assumption on where they would be in the first round. Possible first round... They have to be somewhere in that middle. It's going to be
outside the top 15.
I think if it is a top 15, it has to be 14 or 15. Yeah. Anywhere between that, 14 and 15 to 22 range. I don't see them going past 22. So possible first round pick for a QB. If not, always go day 2 on a guy with a high ceiling. And if not, have a third option for them, you trade for a quarterback. Which quarterback? I don't know. I might get into that later with another team that's on this list. But I feel like trading for a quarterback is always an option, as we saw this past season.
Yeah.
They did.
And I've talked a lot of crap about Justin Fields. I'm not a big Justin Fields fan.
I'm not either.
But they're winning games with him.
Yeah.
And again, it's not pretty wins. It's not like they're blowing teams out and he's playing like a top 10 quarterback.
No.
But I think for next season, you stick with him.
Really?
I think you stick with Fields. This is his third year in a new system.
This is year 4.
Is it really already?
I think so. I think this is a contract year for him. Yeah.
No.
It is.
Really?
Yeah. He was the same class as Trevor.
Was he?
Yeah. This is a contract year for him.
All right. Well, so he needs a contract after this season.
I believe so because I don't think his 5th year got
All right,
picked
we're
up.
going to sound like we don't know ball at all. But I'm going to ask you a question.
Uh-huh.
Does the 5th year option still carry over if you get traded?
I believe so, but they have to put it in at a certain time, and I don't think they did it on time.
Okay.
I
Well,
could absolutely be wrong about
then
that.
if
But I'm
that's the
pretty
case and he needs a contract, there's no way they're signing him to a new contract unless they're able to keep him on like a short 2-year deal with an out after one season.
Yeah.
I
Which
think,
we've seen more frequently these days than before.
I think if that's the case, you have to draft a quarterback. Because, who on that roster right now gives you hope, like, outside of the quarterback position, to be like, all right, we're going to bring in a vet. They kind of tried to do that this year with Russ. Worked out horribly.
As of now, I don't think it will happen. But for all we know, Russell Wilson could come in like week 7, week 8.
They've just been hiding him.
Yeah, exactly. They want to save him for when it really matters.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think so.
But it could happen. But no, it's not going to happen.
There's been crazier things happen.
Well, the case with Fields needing a new contract, I personally am drafting a quarterback. And again, maybe try to sign Fields back on a short little deal.
Mm-hmm.
Have him compete with the rookie. Because like you said, they're not going to have that high of a pick.
I don't think so. No.
So you're going to get, at best, the 4th or 5th best quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
You let Fields stick around and let that rookie compete and see who wins it.
Yeah. I see your point there, yeah.
Next, we got the Browns.
Yeah, I mean, they're just so bad. Deshaun Watson is...
I think at this point, we're under the
good.
assumption that they are going to be able to get out of that contract at some point.
They have to find a way. They're going to clear house. I mean, okay, like maybe not fire Stefanski. Like
I think if they were to get rid of Deshaun, they would.
I think you have to get rid of the GM. That's such an awful contract.
Well, then why wouldn't you get rid of the head coach too?
I see your point. That's what I'm saying. Like clear house, but at the same time, like I don't think it's really Stefanski's fault that much. He's a 2-time coach of the year. Like the Browns were literally nothing before him. Helps them win a playoff game. No, I agree, and I think a big part of that is Deshaun's fault. That's why I have them getting their franchise quarterback in round 1. Like Deshaun's not the guy. One of the worst trades and contracts in NFL history. Like you just have to. It's time to move on.
Yeah, I mean the Browns to me are pretty similar to the Raiders where they are right now, in terms of they're trying to sell.
Yeah,
they're trying to get rid of Amari Cooper. They might try to trade Njoku. Like, if you're going to do all that, you might as well go ahead and reset the team and draft a franchise quarterback in round 1.
Yeah.
There's no reason to bring in a vet unless you pull the Raiders from this year and are like, all right, we're going to bring in a vet and just not be good this year.
The thing is, I don't even know what vet they would go out and get, and I think they're going to have a high enough draft pick.
Well, that was the other point I was about to make. They're not good right now.
No,
so they're going to end up with a top 10 pick, hopefully, in their sake. That they will be able to get one of those top 3 to 4 quarterbacks still. And you just take the best quarterback there. If you need to, I honestly wouldn't do it. Trade up. Unless you keep Amari for some reason, and then you package that pick and Amari to move up. Although I don't know which teams inside the top 10 are going to be begging for Amari Cooper.
No. Did you see today they have a 3rd round pick as a price tag for him? And of course I'm seeing it from a Washington Commanders perspective. I'm like, I'm not giving up a 3rd for Amari Cooper. I wouldn't.
If I'm the Buffalo Bills, I am giving the Browns a 3rd right now.
I'm good.
And you can take it.
I think our offense is explosive enough without him. We don't need
you guys are in a fine spot. Us, on the other hand, I'm not even going to get into it. We're going to get into it.
We'll get to that later.
But,
absolutely.
yeah, no, for the Browns right now, I feel like you have to draft a quarterback round 1.
For sure.
And just reset the franchise, reset the culture, because that culture is so messed up right now.
No one wants to be there. And I don't want to sound like your typical media person acting like they know what's happening. For all I know, they're just miserable losing, but they do want to be there and stuff. But, it just doesn't look like that on the field.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like they really want to be there.
Yeah. No, I get you. And then next team we got are the Titans.
Yeah, I mean, you know how
Your
I feel
favorite
about...
Mayo boy.
I don't like the Titans. I think they're an awful team. Definitely don't like Will Levis. I never liked him throughout the draft process to now. I never thought he was good.
I didn't.
They're gonna have a top 5 pick this year. draft your franchise quarterback with that pick in the first round.
I'm going to take a little bit of a different approach than that. If I'm the Titans, I'm bringing in a free agent vet.
Mm-hmm.
Let Will Levis, and this is going to sound horrible, I think you give Will Levis one more chance. It's the first year with a brand new coach in a new system. You're going to give up on him after one season?
Absolutely.
With the new
Why
system?
not? Why not? You don't owe any loyalty to him.
The GM drafted him, though.
In the second round, you can move on from a second round pick.
I know, but that's why I think you bring in...
Especially when I don't think he's helping you win games. Obviously, he's not helping you win games.
What if they're able to snag a Travis Hunter?
I mean, at the end of the day, you don't have a franchise quarterback, though.
I know, but that's why you bring in the vet. To compete with Levis. And just see who wins it.
I just don't know what vet you could bring in to be like, this might be our guy.
We don't know at this point. That's the thing, is we don't know.
Yeah.
I think you go out and you try to find a solid vet to let Travis develop with a guy that has played in the NFL before. And if Will Levis ends up winning the job, so be it. Mm-hmm. Let him go out there and struggle, and then you bring in the vet later into the season. So what? Like, you let Travis develop, though, a little bit. And this is, again, all under the assumption they get Travis Hunter. We're kind of playing we think this is going to happen game.
We're so early in.
It's a lot of predictive guesses of what we think is going to happen. Yeah. But if they were to bring in a guy like Travis Hunter, instead of taking the quarterback route in the first round, I think you would keep Will Levis, bring in a vet, let them battle it out. I just think that makes the most sense to me at that point. Because then you could have a guy like Travis come in and be next to the guy like D-Hop and Calvin Ridley. Like, that would be so cool.
That's even if they put him at receiver, they could easily be like, look, you're an absolute shutdown corner.
Guess what? The Titans would be one of the teams that he'd be able to play both sides. Could you imagine?
I just don't think that's very smart at the NFL level.
But because they have a lockdown number one corner with L'Jarius, you have Travis as your number two and your number one receiver. Like, that would be so cool.
It will be cool. I just don't think that's going to happen.
Probably not, but I'm wishful thinking here.
Yeah.
Moving on, we got the Jets.
Yeah, so obviously...
Hold on, before we move on to this.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Jets, Robert Saleh got fired about 8 hours ago.
Yeah, so that was... And that will come with our next segment, but, like, this is all very breaking news.
It has happened. We know about it already.
Yes, we know it happened. It just happened a few hours ago.
So we're all digesting it right now.
We're still trying to put pieces together.
But if you're the Jets... What do you do at quarterback next year?
Obviously, you still have Aaron Rodgers. I don't know exactly how long his contract is, but you definitely still have him under contract for next year. Therefore, again, all dependent where you are in the draft. I say you draft your quarterback to learn under him either in round 1 or on day 2.
I'm under the same assumption as you of drafting a quarterback this year. Mm-hmm. You already have Jordan Travis in there. So maybe you're banking on him to kind of be that guy already. But I don't know. I wasn't the biggest fan of Jordan Travis. A lot of people were very high on Jordan Travis, though. Mm-hmm. But if I were the Jets, I would draft a quarterback, like you said, day 1, day 2, and just let him sit behind Aaron. If they decide to move on from Aaron, or if he decides to move on, that completely changes everything.
Can you imagine if he's like, I want out?
I would not be shocked if this continues.
I mean, it's just a mess. Again, with this whole Robert Saleh thing just happened a few hours ago, it's really a mess in there.
How much say do you think he's had in that?
Apparently, he had none. That's the reports coming out. Is that accurate? I don't know. Especially according to multiple reports, Aaron Rodgers had no idea what was happening.
I find that very hard to believe. And if it is true, that feeds our point even more.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know what's going on in the building.
You bring up a good point there. If it is true that he had no idea it was going to happen, he had no say. If it is true, why would he want to stick around?
Yeah. When you're the guy, you have
say. When you're the franchise quarterback,
Pat
you
Mahomes,
have some say.
Lamar.
Yeah.
They all...
Literally any franchise quarterback they all say
know.
in what happens.
Other than Kirk Cousins, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, he's a whole different breed.
We're getting off point here a little bit, but... So you say the Jets draft a guy in the first
in the first round or day 2?
Yeah, I'm in the same.
Like a high ceiling guy in day 2.
Yeah, no, I'm under the same assumption as you.
Yeah.
And next we got the Giants. I think we both have the same answer for this one.
Yeah, I was never a Daniel Jones fan from college to now. Never liked Daniel Jones. I say you either draft a guy in the first round or you trade for a quarterback. I think that's a possibility as well. So those are my two options for the Giants.
The Giants, I think, have to go strictly draft.
Really?
I think they're going to end up with a top 5 pick. It's pretty safe to assume at this point.
Well, if they get like 6 to 8.
I just don't see it. I don't see them winning enough games to be outside the top 5.
They beat the Seahawks.
Cool.
Get a couple more surprise wins in there. You could get like a 6 or 7.
I don't know. Regardless, if they finish even at 8, even 10, I think you have to build through the draft. Because, like, who in free agency are you going to get better than Daniel Jones?
I don't think you'll get a guy in free agency better than him. That's why you got to trade for someone.
Do you have a name in mind?
I do have a name, but I feel like it would kind of ruin one of the surprises
we'll save it
for later.
A bit. I'll let you save that. But for the Giants, I think we draft I would.
Yeah, if you were the GM. Yeah.
Would draft a guy.
Yeah.
And just have him come in and have him compete with Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's under contract still. Let him compete.
For a while. He's under contract for a while.
Is it a wasted first-round pick at that point if he loses the job to Daniel Jones? Yes, a massive one. But
if
you can still trade
draft a quarterback in the first round, he loses the job to Daniel Jones. I don't know why you got hired in the first place.
Yeah, you shouldn't be a GM.
No, you should not.
No.
At all.
And that's why I would draft one.
Yeah.
Because I know I can find someone better than Daniel Jones.
It can't be that hard. Cannot be that hard.
Hey, he was a 5th overall pick. Or whatever.
6th I don't know why. Again, my humble opinion, I don't think he should have ever been. My humble opinion.
Definitely not. No. And next team, we got the Rams. Where are you going with the Rams?
So obviously they still have Matthew Stafford. Personally, I would draft a guy in either the first round or in day 2, not to start next year, but to learn from him over the next year or 2.
Because Stafford still has 2 years left on his contract after the season.
So I will draft a guy with the intentions of sitting him for however long we have Stafford.
By the time Stafford's contract is over, though, he will be 38 years old.
Yeah.
Which tells you he's already 36 years old.
Yeah.
It's time to bring someone in that's going to be the next guy there.
Exactly.
Stafford would be a pretty nice guy to sit behind, too.
Yeah, for sure.
You would learn a lot. Mm-hmm. Different arm angles.
And he's
just been in the league for a long time.
I feel like he would understand that, too. I think it would be crazy if he doesn't understand.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you're old, dude. Like, we got to get a guy to come in here and just kind of learn from you for a couple years.
On top of the fact that they have some pieces at other positions where you could bring in a rookie to sit behind Stafford, watch him cook defenses with Kupp.
Just learn how to lead a team, how to lead an offense. Yeah.
But that's the point. You can use a first-round pick this year.
Absolutely.
Especially when you got one. When you're the Rams, you don't have a first-round pick all the time.
Nope.
So when you got one, you might as well try to get the guy that's going to
What was it? This last one that just happened was their first 8 years or something?
First-round pick they've had since 2018, I believe.
Some crazy.
Next is the Panthers. Such a disappointing franchise.
Look, I feel like if anyone disagrees with what we're about to say, you just don't know ball. You draft your guy. And I know, Bryce Young 2.0.
Give him a chance.
No, look. Admit your mistake, move on, start fresh, draft your guy in the first round.
You want to know the sad thing?
What?
Bryce Young, not in that starting lineup. Andy Dalton has been moving the ball with that team.
Yeah.
How bad does that make you look as a GM?
I mean...
/ owner. Because Tepper has a lot to do with that team. He makes a lot of decisions for that team.
He's not the brightest.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it's just bad all around. On everyone, it's just bad.
Are you under the assumption they're going to be the first pick?
They're going to be top 3. Like, maybe they'll sneak a game or 2 to be 2 or 3, but... I mean, they're going to be top 3.
You're going to get a really good shot at the top quarterback or the second best
quarterback. Do not trade up. If you're not number 1, do not trade up. No matter what, you stay where you are and you get the best quarterback available.
I'm right there with you. You have to draft a quarterback. You need a franchise
and you cannot trade up.
You can't just be like, all right, we're going to go back to Bryce.
No, it's over.
That's
his confidence.
That page has turned.
Yeah. It didn't. Admit your mistake. Admit it didn't work out. Move on. Start fresh. Get your franchise guy. The sooner you could admit it was a failed attempt, the sooner you could get to building the team you want.
Speaking of Bryce Young, are any of the teams we've talked about a team that you think he would succeed on?
Honestly, the Giants, and I'm not saying this should be the Giants' first option, but if I'm the Giants, why not take a swing at it? Honestly, if I were the Giants, I know I said this a couple weeks ago. If I'm the Giants, why not trade for him right now? He's still going to be under contract. You start him. Worst case scenario, you still suck like you already do, and you get a high draft pick still, and you didn't trade much for him.
How much do you think it would cost to get Bryce Young right now? I still think it would be a third because of the quarterback and where he was. It's his second year.
I think the highest, absolute highest you could get for him and only him is a fourth.
I think at least a third.
If I'm a team, I would not give up a third for Bryce Young.
He was the number one overall pick.
I get that, and you know me, I was a big Bryce Young fan coming out of college. I do not think this was his fault. Is he to blame? Some, absolutely. You got to take accountability. Mm-hmm. That is no quarterback, and we said this a couple weeks ago. No quarterback is succeeding in that environment.
No, Patrick
Mahomes isn't succeeding in that environment. It is so dysfunctional. It is so upside down. It's ran like a Madden team. That's not an NFL franchise. That's a 14-year-old's Madden team.
Their minds change on the flip of a coin.
That's what I'm saying. It's no quarterback. No quarterback is succeeding in that. So if I'm the Giants, I would definitely be interested in looking at Bryce Young.
Yeah, and the Panthers need to draft their guy.
Yeah,
bottom line.
Do not trade up. Draft your guy.
They need to draft a guy
for sure.
Next, we got the Saints. We were kind of debating on the Saints
a
little bit.
Because Derek Carr has been on and off. Again, just found out a couple hours ago he's going to be out for a few weeks. But if I'm the Saints, I'm either getting a quarterback via trade or free agency. And I know some people might be thinking, oh, but you did that with Derek Carr. It's not working out. I get that. Try again. I don't know what else to say other than try again, because I don't think you're going to get a draft pick high enough to where you can really get a franchise quarterback. So I say you take a swing at it, get a trade going, trade with a team that you believe in their quarterback, or really compete for the best quarterback free agent in the market.
To be honest with you, Bryce Young would be really cool in that.
That would be cool.
But it would never happen because it's in division.
Unless they simply just have the better deal. Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't think they do it. Because could you imagine if Bryce Young got traded to the Saints,
man, and
they just become a juggernaut with Bryce
Young?
Oh,
how hilarious. Dude, all right.
You give a team their franchise quarterback. What?
I'm trying to think of what I'm trying to say right now without getting canceled. If Bryce Young gets traded from the Panthers to the Saints and the Saints become the team of the South, what should happen to David Tepper? Because jail isn't enough. Prison time is not enough to what,
he needs to go hang out with Dan Snyder is what needs to happen.
That's too good. No. Whatever is happening to P. Diddy needs to happen to you. Just case after case after case after
just plant
case.
Stuff on him.
Just falsely accuse him of stuff. Don't do that. I'm joking. Don't do that. But,
we're going to get canceled.
Absolutely. It was only a matter of time. Prison time is not enough if you end up trading Bryce Young to the Saints and he becomes the king of the South.
So false accusations and...
No false accusations. I was joking. No false accusations. We're going to have to cut that out.
Besides the point,
yeah.
David Tepper would not be allowed in the United States, let alone... He might get sent to space. Yeah. Let's just put it at that.
Pyongyang. It's an option. Why not? That's so, dude. If you imagine this, let's say in a few years,
where are we going with
this? Let's say in a few years, what's his name? Josh Allen.
What are we talking about?
Let's say in a few years, Josh Allen ends up just being he's getting older. He ends up becoming Cheeks. gets traded to like the Dolphins or whatever,
What?
and then ends up being a dog and wins the Dolphins a Super Bowl. How would you feel, and what would you want to do to the GM and owner of Buffalo?
Bad things.
Exact. That's all I'm saying. Look, if that, and this is so dumb. Why are we talking about any of this?
You were the one to talk about it.
Look, if I'm the Saints trader free agency, we're definitely gonna have to cut a lot of that out.
We're keeping that in for sure. But the Saints draft. I haven't even gotten to my point yet, have I?
No. Continue.
If I'm the Saints,
Proceed.
I'm trying to get there, but
Sorry.
all I'm thinking about is Pyongyang.
Pyongyang, capital of North Korea. That's what it is.
Thanks for pointing that out.
Just saying.
I think we got that part.
Hanging with Kim. Chilling with Kim.
Kardashian?
The other Kim. The cooler Kim. The prettier Kim.
Now we're really going to get canceled.
Yeah. It's only a matter of time.
Oh,
Why are you doing it for the Saints?
I'm drafting a quarterback in the second round. I don't think I waste a first-round pick on a quarterback because Derek Carr's not playing bad football.
I don't even think they'd have a good enough draft pick to pick someone in the first round. Like, I think they would be somewhere in that, like, 15 to 23 range.
No, I know, but that's why you would draft a different position at that point because you get the best player available.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Yeah. And then in the second round, take a swing on a flyer guy that has high upside. And then that way, if Derek Carr's still playing good football, cool. If he starts playing bad football, you throw that guy in there and let him try it out. And then if they stink next year too, you draft your quarterback next year, your franchise guy.
Yeah.
But I think you take a flyer on a guy in the second or third round. It's kind of what they did with Jake Haener, but it's more of a fifth-round pick type of a flyer where it's like, all right, maybe he'll work out.
They also have Spencer Rattler.
There are a lot of Spencer Rattler people.
There are, which I wasn't too big of a fan of him personally.
I wasn't either. My biggest thing with him was his character, and apparently that's all changed, that he's turned the leaf with that. But he also just wasn't a great football player to me.
No.
Not good enough to be like, all right, yeah, the character.
Here's the key to the franchise.
Well, and the character stuff is way outweighed by his play.
Yeah.
Like,
I wasn't that big a fan of his play either.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, it's not like his play outshined his character.
Yeah.
Both of them are pretty shaky to begin with, the character and the play.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's the guy. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe he is the guy, and that's who they want as their guy.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm them, I'm drafting a quarterback in the second or third round.
Yeah.
For this year, at least.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, very questionable one.
Yeah, this is a big question mark. This is a very debatable team right here.
The Jaguars.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I think to me, it all comes down to what Trevor Lawrence looks like the rest of the season. And I know they won this past weekend.
Won their first game in 10 games.
Yeah. If they just continue to just not look good, if Trevor continues to just look like he's not the $1 million guy, I think you honestly
$40 million.
Yeah, I think you honestly have to have honest talks about trading him. In my scenario, I would trade him to a team, into a spot where I am in a position where I get a good first round pick to draft my new franchise quarterback. Now that might be shaky because again we're super early in this. It might not shape up. Exactly. So I know it's a little shaky. That's why we have a big question mark around it. I'm just saying if the scenario presents itself to where you can trade Trevor Lawrence to a team that has a good first round pick, and maybe you have to throw in a little something extra to get that pick.
I mean, go ahead. You were saving this for those teams. Throw those teams' names out there.
If I'm the Giants, I'm definitely interested.
Browns?
If I'm the Browns, I'm for sure interested. Steelers. You're telling me if the Steelers could get Trevor Lawrence, they're not already must-see TV? I know we just said Trevor Lawrence isn't the best quarterback right now, but like you can't help but think under Mike Tomlin, he could possibly figure something out,
Yeah.
Add some more weapons there. Like, it could happen. The Raiders.
Antonio Brown comes out of retirement.
The GOAT. Who knows?
I'm just throwing you off here because you threw me off the Pyeongchang. I'm trying to throw you off.
You can't throw me off.
Well, luckily you didn't have to get thrown off of the Washington Monument this week because the Commanders won.
Go Commies.
We'll get to that in a minute, but continue.
No, yeah, like I think possibly trade away Trevor Lawrence with the possibility of, kind of leveraging yourself to get a good first-round pick with that, and then drafting your franchise quarterback there.
Yeah, I don't think it's time to give up on Trevor yet. And as much stuff I've been saying about him and how they should try to maybe move on from him, I don't know. You just paid this dude so much money.
No, I agree there, which is why I'm saying, like, it all comes down to, like, scenario and, like, ifs and ands.
I think the most realistic thing to me to do would be to bring in, again, like I said with, who did I say that about? I can't even remember. Regardless of the point, one of the teams I said to bring in the best free agent quarterback possible. You bring in a good free agent quarterback just to have somebody right below Trevor to be like, okay, if you don't play good, we're putting this guy in. They have Mac Jones right now, but it's Mac Jones.
I'm not trusting Mac Jones.
Not trusting him. You got to bring in somebody else to just light a fire under Trevor to make him get to the level of play that he was at some point in his career and that he was at for most of his career in college.
Yeah.
Like, I just think that free agency would be the best way to go. I don't think you waste a pick in the first round, second round, trading them away. Like you said, you don't know what the compensation would be.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, and if you do that, you're resetting the team. They've already...
But, like, you kind of have to. They're not good. They're just not a good team. I know they won this weekend. You can't tell me you weren't shocked by that. Like,
no, this is a division game.
Like, I don't know, dude. Like,
or were you shocked? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know what I'm trying to say.
You were shocked they won?
Shocked and not shocked, because I don't think the Titans are good either.
Flag up. The Colts?
Did they play the Colts? No, they played the Titans.
Yeah, they did.
They played the Titans.
The Bears played the Titans?
No, the Bears didn't play the Titans. The Bears played the Colts.
Oh, well, okay.
The Jaguars played the Titans.
You're right.
Yeah.
No.
Yes. I am right. I'm absolutely right.
Okay. Regardless, the Titans won this week.
Yeah. No, the Jaguars won.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Jaguars won this week.
Yeah.
Correct.
It's kind of surprising.
What was the point you were trying to make?
That, like, even though they won, they're still not a good team because they just beat up on another bad team.
Yeah. No, that's totally valid.
Yeah.
I just think, I don't know. You got to keep them at this point. You paid them so much money. You got to let it ride, kind of. And you're gonna really reset the whole team by trading away.
They're not competing for anything. Why not?
Well, I think this is a good segment to our next segment because we're talking about this right now.
Facts. Yeah.
If you were going to reset the whole team, it would make sense because going into our hot and warm seat for the coaches, Doug Peterson's seat is on fire right now.
I agree. It is very hot. And I think if there's anyone that should get the most blame for how the Jags look at it is Doug Peterson. They just have not looked good. They haven't. I think he's a big blame for that. So I agree. His seat is very hot.
And we've talked about it before. Their roster is not bad.
On paper, it's not bad at all.
They don't have a bad roster.
No, not
the coaching has a lot to do with how they've played in these games.
Yeah.
You could have the best roster in the world and be terrible. I'm not saying they have the best roster in the world, but it's not a bad team. It's not a bad one.
No.
I would say it's better than a bottom 10 roster.
Absolutely, yeah.
There's no reason they should have one win.
They have talent on that team.
There's
it's
no
just
reason.
Not clicking.
No reason they should have one win.
No.
And my coach of the year prediction
looking pretty bad.
Might be the worst prediction I've ever made. The Cowboys won, finishing last place in the NFC East. Not a terrible one.
Yeah.
That one, pretty bad.
It's not the best. We all have our
Doug
moments.
Peterson's seat is on fire right now.
I agree. It's pretty hot. Yeah.
If you were to tell me before Robert Saleh got fired today, what coach was going to get fired first, Doug Peterson would have been my first answer.
Interesting.
Would yours not have been?
Like, as in, like, coming, like, today before the Robert Saleh news?
Yeah, before he got fired. Before any coach was fired. If you had to pick a coach to get fired first, who would it have been?
He'd definitely be up on the list, for sure. Yeah.
He would have been my number one.
I don't blame you. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, so I think we both have him on a very, very, very hot seat.
He has a hot seat, yeah.
The next coach is Mike McCarthy.
I wanted to talk about, or did you want to save Saleh for last?
I mean, we can talk about Saleh. Go ahead.
I mean, because we wrote this list before the news came out, so we do have Robert Saleh on the list. And I was gonna put hot. It was hotter. I
was also gonna put hot.
It was hotter than what we thought it was. Apparently, it was blazing hot. And
Woody Johnson just had a bad dream last night and was like, "Fire Robert Saleh!"
Yeah,
right
now. And again, it kind of, not to say it came from nowhere, but it kind of did.
Yeah, no, that was the
I wouldn't
say last thing I was expecting to see this morning.
I thought the release waited until the season ended to do it if they were going to do it. Yeah,
because not to say the Bills are running away. They're not. The Bills are not running away with the division. The Dolphins are in shambles.
But there's not really a team that you could look at and be like, oh, they could compete with the Bills in that division.
Other than the Jets, which was that was the whole point I was trying to make here.
Yeah.
The Jets aren't even out of the division race yet, and you're firing a head coach.
There's definitely a lot more to it than what's being reported.
There had to have been.
Yeah.
There had to have been some type of a thing where the players just didn't like him. Aaron maybe didn't like him, although there's reports coming out that he had nothing to do with this firing.
There's also reports that they had a really good relationship. Again, is any of this true? We don't know. It could be false.
And we will never know. Probably.
Unless
Saleh comes out and says something.
Apparently, Aaron Rodgers is going to be on the Pat McAfee show tomorrow. So I'm sure that will be talked about to a certain extent.
Yeah. I don't know how much he'll say, but for sure, he'll definitely lead on.
He's not going to not say anything.
It's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, he's going to say something.
He wants the attention.
Yeah.
But regardless, pretty shocking news about Saleh getting fired this early into the season, being the first head coach fired in the NFL this year.
Mm-hmm.
Very shocking. He would
Did
not have,
have that on my bingo card.
Not at all. All right, moving on to the coaches that are still on teams.
Yes, that are currently employed.
Mike McCarthy.
I have his seat as hot. A lot of Dallas fans have been calling for this for a while. I think he is better than what Dallas fans are giving him credit for. But I still got to think his seat's hot, especially he's going to the last year of his deal.
Mm-hmm.
No sign of them really looking to re-sign him.
Yeah,
I think they wouldn't unless they go on this crazy run in the playoffs, which right now they're in last place of the division, or second to last.
Second to last.
They're in third place right now in the division. I don't think Jerry Jones is really in a rush to re-sign you. So
no.
I'm going to go with his seat's hot.
I'm going to go with somewhere between warm and hot. I don't think he's all the way on hot yet, but I also don't think it's warm. I think he's right in the middle somewhere where if they go on a little bit of a losing streak here, he might be the next guy fired.
Yeah.
It's just such a weird situation with them because, again, on paper, their team's not bad, but it's just so one-dimensional.
Mm-hmm. And you did call that in the beginning of the year.
I don't know how much you can put on Mike McCarthy because Jerry Jones hasn't really brought anybody else. Like, why are you bringing in Zeke to be the guy that you're going to have running the ball this year? Why?
Yeah.
You're trying to relive
just as a whole,
days.
You can't really look at that roster and oh yeah, you really put pieces into place to really
for them to
bring out the most out of this team. He hasn't done that.
And then for them to take a step.
Exactly.
This was supposed to be the year where they take that next
Apparently
step.
They were all in. According to Jerry Jones, they were all in this year.
If Zeke is all in,
we have very different definitions of all in.
Yeah. No, it's weird. Mike McCarthy, again, for me, is right around warm and hot. Just because, like you said, it's his contract year.
Yeah.
And if they can't even make the playoffs, there's no way he's making.
I don't think they would sign him even if they lose in the wild card.
At this point, I don't even think they make the playoffs.
Me neither. It's if they do, it's as the 7th seed.
Speaking of the NFC East, the next team we're going to be talking about are the Eagles and Nick Sirianni.
I have warm, reaching hot. A lot of people are calling for his head. I don't like him, but I don't know if I necessarily fire him. I just think right now his seat's a little warm and it's slightly turned into hot.
Now here's a guy who's completely on the other side of Mike McCarthy.
Yeah.
Their team has all the talent in the world.
Yeah.
And they underwhelm.
Yeah, for sure.
That's on him.
It is, absolutely.
Now, before the season, I don't know how much – you would probably know better than I would of how much heat was on Sirianni going into the season. There
was a lot of heat starting from the end of the year because you remember they lost 5 of their last 6
and
or
then they
something
lost
crazy
in
like
the
that.
playoffs early.
Exactly. Like, so there were, at the end of the year, it was really just adding on to it.
I have, for mine, just turned the stove on. But now that we're talking about it a little bit, I would go on to say it's warm. His seat is definitely warm because of all the things we just mentioned.
Especially if you look at the GM's track record. If you remember, he let go of Doug Peterson the year after they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So obviously he does not care what
He'll
you've
make
done
a
in the
move
past. Yeah.
when he wants to make a move.
Exactly.
And he
so
feels
I could absolutely see that happening again with Nick Sirianni.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that, actually. Next, another NFC East team. How happy does this make you, by the way, to see all 3 of these NFC East teams on here and not Dan Quinn?
I mean, I would hope Dan Quinn's not on here. He's 5 games in. But, I mean, when it comes to Brian Daboll, I have his seat as hot. Just all around, the Giants aren't good. Brian Daboll hasn't – they're just not playing well.
No.
They don't really have that good of a roster. The team isn't playing to its full potential. And he looks like a thumb. So just fire him.
Fire him because he looks like a thumb from Spy Kids?
Yeah.
I'm also under the assumption that Brian Daboll's seat is very hot. I think, like we mentioned before, the Giants need a reset at quarterback. And if you're going to reset a quarterback, why not bring in a new coach? Reset everything there. It's time
New
to
house,
reset the
clean
culture.
house.
Just try something different.
Yeah.
You got to at this point. Their team isn't good. Their roster isn't good.
Mm-hmm.
Just reset it.
I agree. Yep.
Next is the Bears and Matt Eberflus.
I have warm reaching hot. I never thought, and this will sound bad. Like, he's a good coach. He is a good coach.
Questionable.
I'm not saying head coach, but as an overall football coach, he is a good football coach. When it comes to being a head coach, I did not think he should have been the guy to get that job.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not saying, I don't want it to sound disrespectful. I'm not saying he's not a good football coach. He is a good football coach. But when it comes to being a head coach specifically, don't really think he was the right guy for the job. And, like, how long are we making his leash? Like,
yeah.
Like, at some point, you have to look at the Bears and be like, all right, dude, you aren't coaching these guys right.
There was a very good argument that he should have been let go last
Exactly.
season.
Exactly. And I know we're specifically talking about head coaches, but you have to look at Ryan Poles, the GM, and be like, you're part of the problem too, dude. Like, you're not exactly making the right moves to really elevate this team.
Yeah.
It seems like the same problems they've been having are continuing to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you might have to clean house other than a lot of the players. Like, obviously, you'll keep a lot of the players.
Yeah. I mean, them not bringing in any, like, better offensive linemen kind of helped them because ending the season last year for them, their offensive line started to look a lot better.
Yeah.
But you go into the season, it's like, all right, well, they're just going to continue to keep getting better.
Yeah.
Hasn't happened.
Not at all.
They've dropped off again.
Mm-hmm.
So Caleb has no help in front of him.
Nope.
And he also has weapons, which is the crazy thing.
Yeah.
He has very good weapons.
They're just not really clicking like everyone thought they would. Including me. I thought they would be clicking a lot better.
Yeah. But for those reasons, Eberflus's seat is, I would say, hotter than warm.
Okay.
It's not hot. He's kind of in the same area for me as McCarthy.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's like, all right, well, are we really going to let Caleb have to learn a complete new system in his second year?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, maybe keep Eberflus around. If they can continue to win a couple games here and there, maybe buys him another year.
Honestly, Caleb is the only reason why it's not hot for me.
Yeah.
Because you drafted Caleb, I think you may have bought yourself some time. But if you don't start picking things up, I don't see again, how long are you allowing this leash to be?
Yeah.
Like, why are you keeping him? He's not progressing this team.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on there. Next, we got the Saints.
I'm gonna have it as warm. They've lost 3 straight now, and then it's another one of those, like, we don't owe any loyalty to you, really. Like, you're not. There's really no need.
You in there.
Yeah, there's really no need to really bank everything on you. Know what I'm saying? So I think if they continue to lose games and end up below 500, I think they just cut it right there.
Yeah, I think his seat's warm.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say it's hot. just because they are competing in all these games. The only game they didn't really compete in was this past game against the Chiefs, where the Chiefs looked like the Chiefs of old and kind of look like they've gotten back.
Maybe figured it out.
But I don't know. I would definitely say it's warm, though, because they could go the opposite way and just start losing a bunch of these games. As soon as you get in a losing streak, it's hard to get off of that losing streak.
And now, apparently, Derek Carr is out several weeks.
Derek Carr's going to be missing games. It's going to be hard for them to win some games.
Absolutely.
So how much do you put of that on Dennis Allen? I don't know. But like you said, they don't really owe him anything. They kind of just threw him in there when Sean Payton was gone.
Exactly.
So it didn't. So it didn't work out. Sorry about it. We're moving on though.
Yeah, the world keeps moving. You gotta evolve.
It was just a tough situation to go into with the cap situation that they were put in.
An absolute cap mess. If you remember when Sean Payton first left, weren't they like the last team to hire someone because no one wanted to go. It was just an absolute nightmare to deal with. So again, just no loyalty to him. Why you don't need loyalty for him?
Yeah.
So
sticking in that division, we're going over to the Panthers.
Yeah, I have it as warm, and I know it's still Dave Canales' first year.
He's coached 5 games in the
NFL. But if you look at David Tepper's track record, very
Mr.
quick.
Worldwide.
Exactly. Very quick to just let go of guys. So that's why I have it as warm, just because of David Tepper's track history.
I also have it at warm just for those reasons, too.
Yeah.
Like, David Tepper decides
in his sleep. While he's in the shower, what he's going to do.
Yeah. Every 5 minutes, his mind changes about something.
He's legitimately playing Madden.
We don't need Bryce Young to be our starting quarterback, even though we just drafted him number 1 overall.
And traded the house for him.
Yeah, we don't need him to start right now. We're going to bring in Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
Okay, why? We're going to bring in Dave Canales because the Bucs had a good offense last year. Okay, but what is that really going to fix when you guys don't have a good offense?
Who cares? This is Madden. It's pretty bad.
So guess what? He's going to fire his coach again, probably.
Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised.
If they continue to lose. And again, it sucks to be Dave Canales right now because you got to listen to this dude every day. You got to do what he says because if you don't, you will get fired.
Imagine how the GM feels. As far as
Dan Morgan.
I just got the opportunity of a lifetime, and this dodo's telling me what to do.
It's not looking too good for Carolina.
No, not at all.
But I think we both have his seat on warm just because of the owner.
Because of who your owner is, yeah.
And then finally, Sean McDermott.
So, I am not as strong about it as you Buffalo fans. I didn't know there was so much hatred towards him until you guys kept ranting about him. I have it as warm just because you guys seem very angry and hostile towards him.
For good reason.
Go ahead. I'll let you take over.
Did you watch the last quarter of that game?
I was watching my team ball out. I ain't watching.
They were up by 30 points. Why were you watching it still?
Because I'm not used to this yet. This is dope.
Sean McDermott. Oh, no.
What?
He's just such a bad coach.
Look, okay, you guys are making it seem like he's like freaking Urban Meyer or something.
He is.
No, this is what I'm talking about. Like, you guys make it seem like this dude is like Frank Reich or something.
Well, let me set the record straight.
He's not a bad head coach. He's really not.
He's not Urban Meyer. He's worse.
Oh my God.
Sean McDermott is a terrible head coach. You have the ball on your own 5-yard line with 30 seconds left in the game. The Texans still have 3 timeouts. What would you do? Welcome to What Would You Do? What would you do?
Are you asking me?
What would you do?
In my humble opinion, I would run the ball.
Yeah?
All 3 times.
Yeah?
In my humble opinion.
I think every single person watching this right now would run the ball all 3 times. Why do you run the ball all 3 times?
Run out the clock, take it to overtime.
Not even that. Because guess what? The Texans still have 3 timeouts. So they could still call timeouts, right?
Yeah, but all you need to do is get first down and you head to overtime.
Yeah. And they were running the ball okay, right?
Yeah.
Well, you don't know because you weren't watching.
No,
They were running the ball.
My team win.
They were running the ball on the Texans, and they were doing okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
But no. Guess what we're going to do? We're going to throw it on first down.
Mm-hmm.
Incomplete pass.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. We're going to throw it on second down, too. Incomplete pass.
Yeah.
Maybe we should still run the ball here?
Nah.
Well, we're already this deep. Let's throw the ball again. Another incomplete pass.
Yeah.
6 seconds go off the clock.
Yeah.
6 seconds
and
go
you're
off
so
the clock.
pinned back
And you're at
to where
your own
naturally
5.
they're gonna have good field position.
They get the ball at their own 45 or at the Bills' 45-yard line off the punt.
Yeah.
They need about 3 or 4 yards to kick a field goal. And not to mention, they have all 3 timeouts still.
Yeah.
What is that? What is that?
Look, I agree with you. Wasn't the brightest moment for
He
Sean
should have been
McDermott.
fired after the game.
No,
because of that.
Look. Was it a bad moment? Yes. Let's not act like he's 100% to blame. He's a huge part to blame. Josh Allen did not play good that game. He was horrible that game.
All right, I'm about to go.
Please do.
Josh Allen had a bad game. Yes. He had a very bad game.
Yes.
Is it all his fault?
No, I'm not saying it's on his fault.
No.
Most of the blame should be on
Sean McDermott and Brandon
Yes.
Beane not being able to bring in anybody else as a weapon. They banked much on Dalton Kincaid being that guy. He hasn't been that guy.
If you're a franchise quarterback, you shouldn't need superstars left and right to play a good game. He just didn't play a good game.
Yeah, but you also need better receivers than bottom 5 receivers in the NFL. You know who he threw the ball to the most during that game?
Who?
Mac Hollins.
The hippie, right?
Where's Mac Hollins on your wide receiver rankings?
Probably not even top 40.
Probably not even top 200, maybe.
That's an exaggeration.
He's the 3rd best receiver on our team. And there's 32 teams. So, all right, not in the top 100. I wouldn't put Mac Hollins in the top 100 wide receivers in the NFL.
To be honest with you, I don't even know if I could confidently name 100 receivers. I probably could. You'd have
De'Ami Brown's better. And that's saying a lot coming from you.
It's an argument.
Where would you put De'Ami Brown in the top receiver?
Well, it's different because he actually, for once, played good yesterday or this weekend.
All right, hold on. Before we keep going, Sean McDermott, realistically, is probably warm.
Yeah.
But for me, he needs to be fired tomorrow. He needs to be fired yesterday.
You guys just make it seem like this dude is just like Josh McDaniels.
Oh, you don't even get me started. He is the reason we haven't won a Super Bowl.
No.
Yes.
Completely disagree.
Why? Tell me, because I'll tell you why.
There's so many factors into winning a Super Bowl. So not winning it, there's also a lot of different factors.
You want to know
so
how
you're
close?
I'll let you finish. Go ahead.
You want to know how close we were?
How close?
13 seconds close.
Yeah. To showing up to a Super Bowl, that doesn't mean you win one.
We get into I think Josh Allen in a Super Bowl is a completely different player than we're used to. And
how would you know? He never experienced it.
I don't know, but I just feel like it.
You can feel all you want. There's no evidence to prove that.
Whoa. I won't feel all I want.
Hey now.
I won't feel all
Pause. No Diddy. Yeah.
No David Tepper.
That's news to me. All right. But no, I mean, you guys just make it seem like this dude is just bottom of the barrel. He is a top 15 head coach. Absolutely. I promise you.
Yes. No, I would agree with you.
He's a top 15 head coach.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because we have a good team. It has nothing to do with him being a good coach.
You're really throwing around that good team word around like it's a lot. You just said you have bottom tier receivers.
So we're just throwing all of Sean McDermott's career into this year. This is not this is just amplified as to why he should be fired.
But I think you guys are amplified. I think Bills fans are just over exaggerating. And look, absolutely was a horrible mistake this past game for him with his clock management. Absolutely, I'm not denying that. But all I'm saying is Bills fans are making it seem like this dude is the devil.
He is.
Oh my God, JJ.
All he does is clap. That's all he does.
All he does is clap.
All he sits there. He just sits there and claps.
He just be clapping.
He just sits there and claps his hands.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for specifying.
He sits there and claps his hands.
Thank you.
And uses the timeouts at wrong
Which is why
times.
it's warm. Which is why I'm saying it's warm.
His hands are definitely warm from all the clapping he does.
I think his seat's warm. I think he's a top 15 head coach in the league. I don't think he's as bad
because of the team carrying him.
No.
Josh Allen carrying him to wins where he has done nothing to help the team win.
Are you guys still winning the division?
Right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're in probably the worst division in football right now.
I mean, I'm not going to argue that. That division is pretty bad. But I don't know. I think the seat's warm. I understand the outrage. I don't understand why all of a sudden he is Saddam Hussein to you
It
guys.
hasn't been all of a sudden. It's been like this for a while. Because
I guess I just haven't been paying attention.
He doesn't understand how to win games when it comes down to winning the big game. He always fumbles every time. The 13 seconds. Diggs dropping the ball, you can't really put too much blame on him. But it should have never even been to that point. We should have been up in that game too. There were times during that game where he decided to punt it instead of going for it. He doesn't make the right decisions when they matter the most. And it's as simple as that. And it's, again, I don't hate Sean McDermott.
Don't know.
It sounds like I do.
It sounds like you hate him a lot.
It's just time to bring somebody else in there and give it a try. It's time for a change of scenery. We need a new mind in there. It's just time for him to move on.
What if he takes you guys to the AFC Championship but loses?
Gone.
That's so harsh.
No, it's not. Because I bet you the reason we lost the AFC Championship was because of him. Like that, it happens every year. We lose because of his coaching.
Yeah,
you would think Josh Allen would have a Super Bowl by now, wouldn't you? You would think that.
I mean, like I said, there's so many factors into winning a Super Bowl. Like, I honestly don't know. Like, I'm not gonna say he's not a big part in it. You're the head coach. Of course, you're a big part in all.
And going back to I'm not comparing Eberflus to Sean McDermott. How long is the leash? We're just going to continue to let this happen every single year? I see
where you're coming from there.
This is the year where we've had enough of it. We can't keep having this happen every single season. So for me, Sean McDermott should have been fired yesterday.
He should have been fired before Salah.
Well, I'm just saying that it's an exaggeration. Like, McDermott needs to be fired.
I feel you.
All right, let's move on.
Yes.
To our Week 6 game predictions.
Yep.
The first game, Thursday night this week, we got the Niners and the Seahawks.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Niners. The Seahawks really surprised me by losing to the Giants.
Very disappointing.
Can't relate. Don't know how that happened. But I'm going to go with the Niners.
You're so...
Life is good. Life is good.
You remember week 2 when you said you were losing?
Hush. Hush, make your choice. We don't bring up the past.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm taking the Niners, too. How do you lose the Giants?
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, how do you lose?
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I know you are. How do you lose the Giants? At home.
Can't relate. Simply cannot relate.
Seahawks are just, I don't know.
They're so confusing. They really are.
It is. It's a very confusing team. Mm-hmm. Because they have weapons.
Mm-hmm. 1 week, Geno Smith looks really good, looks like a franchise quarterback. The next is like, oh, you are Geno Smith.
You are the Jets' Geno Smith at one point.
Yeah. And I'm not blaming it all on him.
You're still waiting for Sam Darnold to be that Jets' Geno Smith.
Look, if you watched we'll get to that later.
No, we're not, because the Vikings are on a bye week.
Wait, so do you have... Oh, damn it. So should I just say it now?
Go ahead.
If you saw the game against the Jets, he did not look good. Sam Darnold did not look good.
Did they win the game?
All right, you could win a game and your quarterback not play good.
Yeah, but I understand that they're 5-0, right?
That's fine. It's all starting to become into flourishing. It's going to happen.
We're still waiting, buddy.
That's fine. It's going to happen. Just wait. Okay. It's going to happen.
Okay. What'd your boy, what's his name say this week?
Jaden?
No. Who's the guy that you were saying that had
Teddy Bruschi?
Yeah, what'd he say this week?
I don't know. I haven't heard him.
Yeah, because it didn't happen.
He did not play well. If you look at the tape, he did not play well.
The game.
He did not play well. I'm not talking about the Vikings. The Vikings are a good team. I'm talking about their bum quarterback. He's not good.
5-0 quarterback can be a bum.
That's fine. He had a good 3 or 4 weeks. Good for you, buddy. You're not a franchise quarterback.
Strongly disagree. But we're taking the Niners in that one.
Yeah.
Next, we got the Jags and the Bears.
I'm going to go with the Bears. I just ripped on the Jaguars. I do not think they're good. I think the Bears can at least be decent, so I'm going to go with the Bears.
This isn't going to make a good case for me because I was stripping on the Jaguars too, but I'm taking the Jaguars. I need to catch up with you in these rankings for these game picks.
Yes.
I gotta.
I'm in the lead by 2 games.
I gotta flip these around a little bit. I'm gonna take the Jags this week.
They kind of
interesting strategy, Cotton. I'm taking the Jags this week. They pulled off an upset last week. I wouldn't really call it an upset because it's a division game and Joe Flacco was starting. Or I'm still wrong about Titans. I'm still wrong about
Either way, they beat a bad team. So, like, it was an upset / not an upset.
I think you might be wrong.
No, I'll prove it to you right now because we still have it up.
Regardless, if they didn't play, they won this week. Regardless of who they played, they won. And
I'm wrong.
We didn't do That's what.
Oh my!
And then the Titans played the Bears.
Is it
right?
No, I don't think they played the Bears.
Please.
Who did the Titans play? They may have had a bye. They had a bye week.
Panthers.
Oh, well, that's why we forget.
Panthers.
No, the Bears played the Panthers, not
that's
the
Titans.
That's what I'm
saying.
The Bears. You said the Titans. I don't think the Titans played.
Yeah. Titans are out of the picture. Regardless.
Forget the Titans.
The Colts lost to the Jags, though. Bringing it back full circle.
Absolutely.
The Jags beat the Colts with Joe Flacco. Like I had said, and you keep saying I was wrong.
Yeah.
But the Jaguars beat the Colts. The Colts are still a decent team.
Yeah.
They didn't have their quarterback. But we can go on for hours talking about how I don't think Anthony Richardson is very good. Joe Flacco, I think is just as good as him. That's going to sound crazy. Don't put that on a TikTok, please.
That Joe Flacco is just as good as Anthony Richardson?
He said it. I did.
No, I think Joe Flacco. I think Joe Flacco is better than Anthony Richardson as of like now. Yeah, like I mean, he got comeback player of the year. I mean, you said yourself, Anthony Richardson's the worst.
He said it.
I'll say I think like as of now, Joe Flacco, he won the game last week.
And he lost to the Jags, who were the only unbeat or the.
Oh no! Personally, I don't think it's too crazy. I think you can make an argument that Joe Flacco is a better quarterback right now than Anthony Richardson.
All I know is I didn't say it. You said it.
I'll take the bullet for it. I'm good with that.
All right, cool. But yeah, I'm gonna take the Jags. Next, we got the Texans and Patriots.
It's been such a long day. I'm going with the Texans. I don't think the Patriots are good. And Drake May, starting for the first time. Watch him be a dog.
Yes.
Watch him be amazing. I'm gonna go with the Texans though.
I'm also taking the Texans. Now that we know Drake May is starting, I'm 100% taking the Texans.
What if he balls out?
Don't think it's going to happen. This might have been the worst week possible.
I agree. I think they should have waited for another opponent. I think the Texans' defense is too good to throw in a rookie quarterback.
Drake May's about to learn
what real
Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter.
That's a real defense right there. Jalen Petry's going to feast. I'm a big Jalen Petry fan. And Derek Stingley. Love that DB room.
It's going to be a rough day for Mr. May.
I think so, yeah.
Not to try to rhyme right there. But
we could be wrong, but I think it's going to be a rough day for him.
Yeah. No, Texans win pretty easily, I think. You got it. You can talk this whole time. I got you. The stage is yours.
Look, it is the Commanders versus the Ravens. Battle of the Beltway. It's a pretty big deal.
Oh, it's never been a big deal until now.
No, it's been a big deal locally. Like it's been a little fun locally. Have they gotten the better of us a lot of times? Yeah, but the smart part of me, the football part of me, is telling me the Ravens are going to win this, and it's even telling me that it's going to be a close game. However, I know what I've been seeing the last few weeks. I know we have the current MVP front runner. And at quarterback, I said it. He's the best quarterback in the league right now. You cannot name a quarterback that has played better than Jaden Daniels. And you can look at Lamar. Lamar's in that conversation. He's no Jaden. Jaden is that dude. I'm taking my commies. We're going to go into Baltimore. We're going to win, and we're going to show the world.
Score prediction.
A very subtle 48-10. I'm kidding. It's not going to be that. I'm going to go with like...
57-3.
38-35. Seibert last second field goal to seal it. Calling it right now. My commies are going to come through. We're going to shock the world. Proceed.
I'm really glad you took the Commanders because now I'm going to get up a game on you. I'm taking the Ravens.
Go ahead.
I think the Ravens are just a better team. And I think as much as I do like the Commanders and how good they've been
How could you not love the Commanders?
It's been really fun to watch them.
I'm just waiting for us to be like the team that everyone loves to hate. We're eventually going to get there. Just wait for it. Oh,
I think Jaden's too likable of a guy to have that.
How could you not like Jaden?
It's a little different because like a Mahomes, you can hate a Mahomes because of the type of. I'm not even gonna say anything because we're gonna get hated for this. But
I will say I wouldn't be surprised if eventually, maybe not this season, but in like upcoming seasons, people do hate on Jaden just because of fans like me. No, just because of fans like me won't stop talking about him. Like I've seen, this isn't me. I want to make very clear this is not me. I've seen TikToks and tweets of like Washington fans being like, dude, I'll be like in bed with my wife talking about Jaden. Like he is all Washington fans can talk about.
Yeah.
Like we've never experienced anything like this. So I wouldn't be surprised if eventually NFL fans are just like, all right, we're getting tired. Washington fans are annoying. All they do is talk about the Messiah. And then I think that's how he'll end up getting hated. But until then, we're enjoying the ride.
I just think the Commanders need to get knocked down a peg because the Ravens are the best. You guys are playing a legit contending team this week.
We're legit contenders.
Are you really, though?
According to you, last week, yes.
Yes. But to be fair, they haven't really played anybody.
Oh, my God. All right. No. Here's my rant.
Go ahead. Who have they played?
You said.
Who have they played?
Listen. You said if Washington beats Arizona, I would take you guys for real. You guys would be legit. Not only do we beat Arizona, we go into their house, we bend them over, we grab our belt, and we spank them. It wasn't close. It wasn't even close to being close. We torched them. And then, you're playing a good defense in Cleveland. Cleveland has a for real defense. What happens? We were sitting our starters before the fourth quarter started. It wasn't close to being close. We whipped them. Wait for this week. Watch us win this week. We win this week.
You didn't answer my question, though.
I kind of just did. Because everyone's like,
what are all their records?
Look. Everyone's talking about,
if
you just beat this team, if you just do this, then we'll take you serious. We do it. Not only do we do it convincingly. Whatever. But what about this and this?
Who have you beaten?
I'm really answering your question.
I know, but who have you beaten? Name the teams now.
The Giants who just beat the Seahawks, who could possibly
2-3.
But they just beat the Seahawks team, who's probably going to the playoffs.
Cool. Giants are 2-3. Who else have you beaten?
The Cardinals, who just whooped up on the 49ers, who's known as one of the best teams in the NFC.
2-3.
And the Cleveland Browns, who's known. Oh, they have such an, in your words, an elite defense. If Terry then dropped a touchdown in the end zone, we're putting a 40-piece on them.
1-4.
You see how
Bengals. What are the Bengals? 1-4.
Look,
you guys haven't beaten the team with a winning record.
That's fine.
Watch. Guess who the team you lost to was?
I'm gonna let you know something.
With a winning record.
I'm gonna let you know something. If and when we end up winning this weekend, there's gonna be another excuse. Oh, but Jaden. Oh, but the Ravens. No. That's fine. Bring on the excuses. We're just gonna keep on winning. That's all I know. Commies by 1,000.
You know what? You might be right.
I am right.
Start to hate Jaden because of you.
That's fine. Hey, that's what I'm saying. I cannot wait until we become so elite that people. I'm gonna keep dreaming. We've scored the most points in the entire NFL.
You haven't beat anybody.
Look at this. The anger.
No,
it's only
you just went off. They haven't beat anybody. The best team they've beaten is a 2-3 team.
That's fine. That's fine. Because we aren't beating teams. We are destroying teams.
So do the Bills. Look at the Bills.
The Bills are a trash organization. Don't get me started.
Go ahead. Please, I would love to hear the Bills talk.
No, I don't have one. I just talk about commies. All I know is we're going to keep proving the haters wrong.
Saying that.
We are going to prove the haters wrong. That's all I'm going to say about that. Commies are going to win this game.
Ravens by 2 touchdowns.
Oh, that's so disrespectful. No. Even if you have the Ravens, it's going to be kind of close.
Ravens by 2 touchdowns.
Go ahead.
Browns versus Eagles.
I'm going to go with the Eagles. The Browns are just so bad.
Same. Cardinals and Packers.
I'm gonna go Packers. I think the Cardinals are still bad.
Same.
Dope.
Bucks and Saints. Now we can talk about something.
What's it called? Jordan Love's playing this week, right? Like I'm trying to make sure. Like,
Yeah.
there's no. Okay, cool.
Although,
Bucks Saints.
is there a quarterback? No, we're leaving it at that.
Bucks Saints. I think this one might be closer than what people are giving credit for, but I'm gonna go with the Bucks on this one. I think they are. I know they just lost to the Falcons, so it might not make sense of what I'm about to say. I still think they are the best team in the NFC South, so I'm gonna go with the Bucks.
I'm very 50-50 on this game.
Same. Yeah.
Because you are picking the Bucks and I am 50-50 on it, though, I will take the Saints to try to get up a game on you.
That's fine.
I think, would you say this is a very 50-50 game?
No, I agree. It's absolutely a 50-50 game.
That's the reason why I'll go out on a limb and say the Saints. Personally, I think the Bucks probably win.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's a division game, it's very big implications in this game. If you can pick up a win against a division rival, it's good for you in the standings and
just
as a team
just all around. Yeah, just all around. It's a good feeling. Yeah.
So I'm gonna take the Saints. I think, even though they don't have Derek Carr, I kind of just forgot about that. They don't have Derek Carr, do they?
You already said the Saints. It's too late. He chose the Saints next. Colts versus Titans. Who do you have?
I'm taking the Colts.
As well, I'm taking the Colts.
I think Joe Flacco. Mr. Joe Flacco better.
I just touched the mic. It's about to sound awful. But, yeah, no. It
wasn't him touching the mic. That was him throwing a dot.
Now you're getting it. I don't think the Titans were good at all. So, I'm going to go with the Colts.
I think this game is going to be really close.
Really?
I do think it's going to be close. I think the Colts squeak out with the win just because I think Will Levis is going to do something crazy. He's done it every game, and it costs them the game every time.
Yeah.
So for that, I'm taking the Colts with a more experienced quarterback with Joe Flacco back there. Unless Anthony Richardson's back.
Mm-hmm.
If he's back this week, I'm definitely taking the Colts. But maybe not because I don't like Anthony Richardson that much either. But no, I still
Apparently
think the Colts.
you hate him a lot.
You hate him a lot.
No, I mean...
You just said Joe Flacco's better than him.
I feel like that's a legitimate argument. Like, you may disagree, but there's at least points to point at and be like, you know what? You're not exactly wrong there. And if he is better, I'm not saying he is healed. I don't know what the expression is. He's
head over heels?
Head over heels better than him. Like, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying, like, compare the games they've played this season, I feel like you could kind of give the edge to Joe Flacco. That's all I'm saying about that.
Fair. Colts,
yeah.
Chargers and Broncos are the next game.
I wanted to go Chargers, but I was thinking about all the times I've been hating on the Broncos this season. And every time I hate on them, or at least most of the time I hate on them, they prove me wrong. So I'm deciding to turn a new leaf, and I'm going to go with the Broncos this week.
With all that being said, I'm taking the Chargers. I just don't think the Broncos are going to be able to stop the Chargers' run game. There's no one up front for them, to me.
Mm-hmm.
I just think they're going to get bullied off the ball, and the Chargers are going to probably have the ball for 40 minutes of that game and just control the time of possession, run it down their throats, and come out with a W.
Mm-hmm.
Next game, we got the Steelers and the Raiders.
I know every week I come on and say, oh, Antonio Pierce is going to figure it out. I'm kind of giving up on them, honestly. I'm going to go with the Steelers.
I'm also taking the Steelers. I think the Raiders, I wouldn't say it were... I feel like you were maybe overhyping them a little bit.
I was. I'll say I was for sure. Yeah.
But they're not a good team. They're really not.
I really was trying to be optimistic with them. They're not.
Devontae doesn't want to be there.
No.
Kind of throws the whole team morale out the window.
Gardner Minshew's
Gardner Minshew. Yeah. The Steelers defense might have 7 sacks in that. TJ Watt might have 3 or 4 sacks in that game.
He's looking really good.
He might win that game single-handedly.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And Justin Fields might just have to get a 20-yard rush for a touchdown. They might win that game 7-0.
Yeah.
That might win them that game.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we got the Lions and the Cowboys.
I'm going to go with the Lions. Dallas isn't good.
No.
And Detroit is. Simple math. Go with the Lions.
I'm taking the Lions as well. Like I've been saying all season, the Cowboys are just so one-dimensional.
Yeah.
They have no weapon outside of CeeDee Lamb. And when all you have is one weapon, very hard to be a productive offense when that one weapon's getting double teamed every play.
Mm-hmm.
And even when he is open,
he's getting really frustrated.
Yes.
He's getting really tired of it there.
Mm-hmm.
They just paid him. Like it's crazy that you just got paid and there's so much frustration coming out.
Now watch them go out and win this game.
I'd be mad.
And again, it just cycles it back, and it's like, well, McCarthy's cool, I guess now. But no, I don't see it happening. I see the Lions winning pretty single-handedly, to be honest. I just think that they're the better football team. Next, we got the Falcons and the Panthers.
I know we say this every week, but like, do we really got to talk about this? It's the Panthers. I know they won one game and surprised everyone. Come on.
You're not losing 17 games.
Come on. It's the Falcons.
Yeah, I'm taking the Falcons too.
Yeah.
Falcons actually look like a good football team this year.
Yeah, they do.
The Darnell Mooney and
good for him. I've been a fan of his for a while, so I'm happy he's kind of having a resurgence.
I don't know why I'm blanking on their other receiver's name right now.
London?
Drake London. There's another guy that's playing really good football for them though right now. I can't remember what his name is.
I'm kind of blanking on it too.
Nope. It's not him. He was out for the year. Regardless, their receiving core and tight end, and we're not even talking about Bijan yet. Bijan hasn't had a very good season yet, and they haven't needed him to yet.
No.
Once he gets going and that offense is flowing,
you can see Kirk is a lot more comfortable.
He's threw for 509 yards.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Like that team, that offense in specific is just flowing right now.
Yeah.
And they're going to be a tough team to beat, regardless of it being the Panthers. The Panthers are such a bad team.
They're pretty bad.
So I think it's pretty easy to pick the Falcons here for both of us.
For sure.
Then we got the Sunday night game. I don't know how excited I am about this Sunday night game.
I'm not.
We got the Bengals and the Giants.
No, they're both not that good. One's a lot worse than the other, so I'm going to go with the Bengals.
You really think they're that much worse?
I mean, it's tough. I'll admit it's tough to say that, especially coming off a week where you just beat the Seahawks. But, I mean, I just don't see the Giants winning this one, dude.
No. I don't either, and I will pick the Bengals as well. Would I be shocked if the Giants won? No.
I wouldn't be shocked, but I would be a little surprised.
Yeah, I would definitely be surprised too. I mean, it was a surprise they won this past week.
That was a big surprise, yeah.
But I think the Bengals, even though we say it every week, need a bounce back win. I think this might be the week they finally get that done.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take the Bengals.
I feel you.
And then finally, the Monday night game.
You take over.
The Bills versus the Jets.
Yep.
Olbreth's first time as interim head coach for the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
How do they play? I'm going to let you go first. Who you got in this game?
I'm going to go with the Bills. I think even if Robert Saleh wasn't fired, and I made this prediction before the whole Robert Saleh news even got announced. Again, this is fairly new news. But I'm going to go with the Bills. I know it's been a shaky 2 weeks. You can't help but think they'll eventually kind of get things lined up and sorted out. So I'm going to go with the Bills.
If that first half of the Bills game last week didn't tell you that they don't have enough weapons on that team.
You got Curtis Samuel.
I don't know.
I love Curtis. That's my guy.
Kind of a signing was Curtis Samuel? If you're
rip on Curtis,
I'm about to rip
on Curtis Samuel. He's a good dude.
You know how many? You know Khalil. You know how many? How am I trying to say this?
What are you trying to say?
How many more yards do you think Curtis Samuel had than Khalil Shakir this week?
He had more yards than Khalil.
Just as a heads up, Khalil Shakir was inactive. How many more yards do you think Curtis Samuel had than Khalil Shakir?
Well, based on your reaction, I'm going to say less than 10.
Khalil Shakir had more yards than him.
And he wasn't playing?
Curtis Samuel had -1 rushing or receiving yards.
Look,
Khalil Shakir didn't play a snap in the game and still had more receiving yards than Curtis Samuel.
Look, I'm not saying he's an amazing player. I just like Curtis Samuel, the person.
Cool. He's not a good football player.
Don't say that. He's a decent football player.
Nope. And I'm not even blaming it all on Curtis Samuel. But we bring in this guy to be our little gadget guy.
Mm-hmm.
Has not worked at all.
Mm-hmm.
The only gadget player we have on this team right now is James Cook, and he's supposed to be our number one running back. Yeah. You can't be our number one running back and the gadget player.
Yeah.
You can't do it.
Yeah.
Khalil Shakir is our only weapon on the team. He is our best weapon and the only weapon. Dalton Kincaid, where are you, buddy? Where are you? You're supposed to be this next Travis Kelce reincarnation.
Which I never got that off of him throughout the draft process last year. So I will say I was a little surprised that Buffalo did end up choosing him in the first round.
No, but it wasn't even just the Bills saying that. Like, draft pundits were saying Dalton Kincaid is going to be this really good tight end, right? Am I right?
I thought he was going to be good, but I didn't think he was worthy of a first-round pick. That's all I'm saying.
It's just so irritating watching that offense play football. Josh Allen was 9 of 30. 9 of 30.
That's pretty bad. They should have, can I just say this? They should have taken him out after that.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know.
He was knocked out.
He was knocked out. The NFL, don't they have someone up in like the box? Like,
somebody on the field.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they should have taken him out. And I understand the franchise quarterback and the time of the game left and all that. You have to take him out.
All I'm saying is that offense is bad. It is very, very bad. When you have Khalil Shakir as your only weapon, we've talked about it last week, he's not a deep threat guy. He's a short intermediate guy.
I'm going to be honest, he's not a true number one either.
No,
yeah,
he's not. That's like saying Amon-Ra St. Brown. If you had just Amon-Ra St. Brown on your team and got rid of everybody else, like you didn't have any other good receivers, he wouldn't be that good.
I still think Amon-Ra is a lot better than Shakir.
I'm not saying he isn't. But if you took out those other weapons and you take out that run game that they have, is he as effective?
Not as effective, no.
No, and he's not a top 10 receiver probably.
If you take away all the other weapons, probably not.
So then how are we going to be a good football team if we just have Khalil Shakir? That's like having just Amon-Ra. We don't have anything. We don't have an identity as an offense. We don't. We just go into the game and change our game plan every week instead of just focusing on one thing to do and get that fixed. We don't fix our run game. Our run game looked okay, and then guess what we do? We go away from it, and it costs us the game because we try to throw the ball 3 times on our own 5-yard line with 30 seconds left in the game. Like, it's just such a badly ran team right now. And they don't have weapons in place. We have 2 second-round picks because we traded Diggs.
Yeah.
What are we doing sitting on our hands just waiting for another receiver to want to come play for us? Brandon Beane needs to go out there and make a trade for Devontae Adams or Amari Cooper.
T. Higgins, maybe.
T. Higgins, D-Hop.
Yeah.
There's guys out there. Go make a move. If this is your window, and like we just talked about, the AFC East is very, very, very winnable still.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even though you guys aren't a great team, you can still win that division very easily.
Mm-hmm.
Go out and make a move so that we can move the ball on offense. We can't move the ball on offense.
Yeah.
You saw that first half. We did nothing. We scored 3 points in the first half against the Texans defense that wasn't playing great these last couple weeks. They weren't. And we scored 3 points. I can't imagine what it's going to be like against the Jets team. If Khalil Shakir is not playing in this game, we might lose this game. I'm not picking us to lose. I think we win. But with the interim head coach thing, a lot of times that interim head coach gets their first win in their first game.
Yeah.
Just because all the players are playing for the guy that they like.
Yeah.
The guy that gets named the interim head coach most of the times is the most
well-respected,
player-favorited coach.
Yeah.
So they are playing really hard for that coach.
Yeah.
Would I be surprised if the Jets win this game? Not at all.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised either.
But I'm still picking the Bills. We just have so much to fix. And I blame so much of it on the coaching and the front office. We have to make a move for a receiver. Yeah. If we don't make a move for a receiver, what are we doing? Like, are we going to become sellers?
Yeah.
Yeah, you think?
No, I'm just agreeing with you. Like,
would you?
No, because not to sound disrespectful, what do you have to sell?
That's the point.
Yeah, that's what I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, what are we going to do? Trade James Cook? What are we going to? We're going to trade.
You definitely have to be buyers.
Greg Rousseau?
No, you have to be buyers. The only thing I could see you possibly selling is Ed Oliver. But even then, it's like, I mean, obviously you'll know better than me who's his backup? Like, who do you have to replace
Dwayne
him?
Carter. And Ed Oliver missed his last game, and Dwayne Carter played pretty decent, actually.
Maybe Ed Oliver could be. But even then, I wouldn't go out of my way and be like, all right, who
We
wants
just paid
Ed
him.
Oliver? Exactly. I'm looking to be a buyer from Buffalo.
No, I know, and that's the point is we never are. We need to make a move right now. We're just sitting here waiting for an offense to come out of thin air when we don't have anything on offense.
Yeah.
The defense is still going to play good because we have solid players, and we're starting to get some of the guys that were hurt back. Terrell Bernard caught a pick. Teron Johnson still hasn't played a game. He played like a quarter in the first game of the season.
Yeah.
He was out as soon as the first quarter was over in the first game. And you could tell right away not having him on the field was a problem. Mm-hmm. If we can get him back, the defense is going to be good. We're fine on defense, but we need weapons. That was the whole thing going into the season is the Bills don't have any weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was sleeping on Khalil Shakir. I'm still going to take all the credit for that. He's a good receiver. Khalil Shakir is a good receiver.
He's not a number one.
He is for us.
The fact that you have to say for us,
and I think that's fine.
It's all you need to know.
But it's the same, and I know I'm going to get hated for this. He is our Amon-Ra St. Brown. He is our Amon-Ra. Mm-hmm. And I'm fine with him being the number one guy if he's going to be that role. But we don't have other weapons in place to be the other guys. You can't
complain about lack of weapons and then say I'm okay with Shakir being the number one.
Yes, I'm good with Shakir being the number one. No. Even if you were to bring in...
If you need more and better weapons, you need a better number one than
Even
Shakir.
If you were to bring... Okay, fair. That's fair. Because if you were to bring in a Devontae or an Amari, obviously they're the number
easily
one.
Yeah.
Obviously. But Shakir's still going to get a lot of targets.
Yeah.
Shakir will be... Like, just playing in the slot, you're going to get targets.
Yeah.
He's that guy for us. So... You have to bring in a Devontae or an Amari Cooper to be able to stretch the field with those guys and then feed Shakir so that he's open. Because now all the defenses have to do is just key in on him. And the run game is very suspect, so there's no threat to a play action because they don't have to stack the box against us to stop the run.
Yeah.
So they have guys in coverage already. It's just a very frustrating offense. And this last game really just Sean McDermott. It's just so annoying. I'm so ready for them to move on from him. I don't think they're gonna either, which is really gonna make me mad. But I'm still taking the Bills.
Yeah.
With all that being said,
I have the Bills as well. Wouldn't be surprised if the Jets take it, but I have the Bills.
Anything else you want to say about that game? Because I know I just went on another rant about them.
No. I mean, you basically covered a lot.
We didn't really talk about the Jets. How do you think they're gonna play?
I mean, I don't know. It's just the fact that Robert Saleh couldn't even address his team. I don't know if he addressed the coaches or not. That wasn't reported. The fact that he couldn't even address the team and maybe not even the coaches to be like, look, this is the situation and kind of give a final message. I don't know how the players will react to that. I'm sure we'll find out a lot more as the week goes on, but it's just a lot of question marks with New York right now.
Yeah. It's going to be... With all the stuff that's happened this week, it's going to be tough for them to unite and try to come together.
Unless that's the common ground they have is
that he was the common denominator that needed to be.
Yeah, maybe again, like as the week goes on, we're going to find out a lot more about all of this. So.
But right now, it's very confusing.
Extremely, because it literally happened just a few hours ago.
All right, well,
I
think that's going to conclude this episode.
Absolutely. Thank you for watching. Make sure, hopefully, leave a comment. Make sure you definitely subscribe, like the video, share the video. And as we said earlier, leave a comment. There has to be a punishment for the loser of the weekly predictions.
We're very open to do a lot of punishments. Not all punishments.
Easy. Though.
But you can get a little crazy with some of these. We will listen.
Yes, we will entertain all outcomes and scenarios.
Not all.
We will at least discuss all possibilities.
Not all.
Don't listen to them, we will. Thank you for joining us. Please join us next week. Make sure you check out our TikTok as well, PM Football Podcast, and we hope to see you next week.